Hey guys! So as you may or may not know, I'm a part of a book club here on YouTube that picks a book every single month and then reads it and reviews it by the end of that month. So for the month of August, we chose to read and review Seraphina by Rachel Hartman, which is actually a new book of this year that recently came out, and I have to say I really did enjoy it. So if you want to know why I liked it so much and how special it is, definitely continue watching because I'll cover all that and just share with you how cool this book is. Before I get started with the review, we decided that it's up to you guys to choose the next book that we read for September, so I'm going to give you a list and it's up to you guys to pick your favorite one and leave it down in the comments. The one with the highest amount of votes will be chosen and all of us will read it together for the month of September. So without further ado, I'm going to give you the list of books, and also keep in mind if none of those interest you, leave one in the comments and maybe we'll pick it, and if it's highly requested then we will choose it and it will override the rest of the books. Alright, so the list of books that you guys have to choose from goes as the following. Number 1 is Anything by Neil Gaiman. Number 2 is Ashes by Ilsa J. Bick. Number 3 is Shadow and Bone, but also known as Gathering Dark by Leigh Bardugo. So I think in the UK or something it's called The Gathering Dark. Number 4 is Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver, and it is a book I've already read, but you can still vote for it because that means I'll just be reviewing it at the end of September, so it'll guarantee a review from me. Number 5, and the last book that you can vote for if you want to, is A Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and that one looks really cool, so if it's chosen I'll be really excited to read it. Keep in mind that it's not only my totals, but it's also the other 4 booktubers who can also count the votes, so altogether it will be tallied. And if you want to vote on their other videos, I'm going to leave the links down in the down bar to check out their channels, and you can go vote on their videos as well. Alright, so continue with the review. I'm going to talk about Seraphina by Rachel Hartman and just share with you guys why I liked it so much and how cool it really is. Seraphina takes place in a world called Gored, where not only humans live, but there's also dragons. And the special thing about these dragons is that they're not just dragons, but they also can go back into human form, so they can go back and forth between their dragon form and their human form. For many years, both the humans and the dragons have lived together in peace, and they've lived together coherently. There isn't peace all the time. Sometimes there is some bickering and there's some fighting because the humans, well, some of the humans look down upon the dragons and don't treat them the same as the other humans. The peace that was once in Gored vanishes completely when one of the royal members of the family is murdered. So, a prince is murdered and everyone points the fingers at a dragon because the way that this prince was murdered is in the fashion of a dragon. As more and more of the humans point the fingers at the dragons, the peace that was once in between them no longer lasts because there's a shaky ground, and pretty much the trust that was in between them, the little trust that was there, is now vanished. So right from the start of this book, we're thrown into the world of Gored. We learn about the humans and the dragons and how this peace was kind of corrupted because of this murder, and then we learn more about our main character, who is Seraphina. Seraphina is no normal girl, and she does have a secret that threatens her life pretty much from day to day because it's a secret that can turn everything upside down and put her in grave danger. It's not only about Seraphina, but it's about the world itself and what happens after this murder and what that means for the dragons and the humans. But also Seraphina is thrown in the mix because this secret that she has also is intertwined with this mystery. It's intertwined with her family, and it's intertwined with the whole murder situation, and altogether this takes place in the wonderful world known as Gored, and is very magical and really exciting. Music is also a huge part of this story because Seraphina is musically talented and she becomes the assistant of the court composer, so that kind of starts off the whole story as well because that's a huge part of this book is her musical talent. As well, there is sort of some romance. I don't know if I should want to call it romance. It's kind of interesting and it has a slow development. So for me, Seraphina was the strong point in the story. Because I believed in her, I was able to believe in this story. So Seraphina is such a strong main character. It's what made me want to continue reading it because you just come to like her so much and you just want to know more about her page by page. Seraphina does have a father, but her mother passed away, and I wouldn't even say that her father is a very important character. He is someone who makes a substantial impact on the story, I guess you could say. He is important as her father, but her real kind of father figure is Orma, and he is someone who is in her life for different reasons, and he also teaches her different things about dragons and a lot of history surrounding dragons. So he is more of her father figure, and their connection in this story and their relationship is much more special than her and her actual biological fathers. I found that really special to see someone who does have a father in their life but gravitates towards someone else to look for advice and things like that. So I did appreciate that. I thought it was a different touch to the story that made it really unique and really special. So this is the first book I have read about dragons, and I have to say it was really, really good. What I really liked about this was the whole fantasy-like feeling to it, and the time setting was really beautifully made, and it felt so believable. At the same time though, the writing was very heavy, I found. That's what took me so long to get started with this, because the writing was very strong and very heavy in the sense that it's really descriptive, and it holds that sort of feeling that comes with the time period. So for me, sometimes this type of writing is hard for me to get into, but at the same time, if you give it time and you stay patient with it, it becomes really beautiful in your mind, and it works really well with the story. At the same time, the new writing also brings along new words and new meanings that were hard for me to wrap my head around and also understand. I felt like it could have been really useful to have definitions at the bottom of the page. I don't know exactly what the term for that is called, but sometimes they put a little symbol beside a word and then the symbols at the bottom of the page along with the definition for the word. I thought that would have been really helpful and helped me kind of develop the story in my mind and help me understand things most of the time. But then I discovered at the end of this book there's a glossary with words and their definitions, which I thought wasn't the most helpful because I didn't know about the glossary, and I thought that the definitions along with the words on the page would have made a lot more sense. So I learned about it as I read it instead of reading the whole book and then learning what they're about, if that makes any sense. But sometimes obviously she does explain and she does give definitions and she says what things are, but in most cases she doesn't. So for me that was kind of hitting a brick wall because I didn't know what most of the words meant. A lot of the events are really captivating and so unique that I was just blown away as I was reading it, because I can't imagine developing a world like this as Rachel Hartman has done and making it seem really believable and just so realistic. Overall, I would give this 4 to 5 to 5 out of 5 stars, somewhere in between there. I don't know if I can necessarily give it a full 5 out of 5 because there's some things that I just wish would have been different. So after I finished this book, I immediately went to Goodreads and saw that there's going to be a sequel, which I'm very excited for because this book ended with a lot of loose ends and I just want to see things kind of wrap up, and I want to see what happens, and I want to see the answers to my questions, and I just want to see more of Seraphina because this one was a really good introduction, so it makes me very excited for the sequel. So that was my review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you're going to check out Seraphina and if this review persuaded you. I'd love to know, and I'd love to know your thoughts on this book if you have read it. So thank you for watching my review. My next video will be my August wrap-up where I talk about the books I read in August, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!